the evolution of the game, right? Like, and again, this goes back to the coaches that are maybe watching. How important is it that coaches, you know, make the adjustments as the game changes? Because, you know, and I never want to badmouth any coaches, because I think most coaches are in it for the right reasons, but you see some guys, you know, especially at the youth level, that they'll run the same practice over and over and over again, right? They've been doing that same practice for maybe the last 4 or 5, 6 years, right? But the game changes, and you and I talked a little bit about that. You know, I think especially at the pro level, it's more skill set, right? And you break the game of hockey down, it's one-on-one anyways, right? So if you're, and I think I'm a big believer that everything falls back on skating. And you being a shooting coach, I think you can agree with that.
100%. You know, like, there's been numerous times when I've been 10 minutes into a session and letting the parent know, you know what, here's take your money back, invest it in the skating and skating. If you listen, it's like that old song we talked about, and from the old days, there's a song that's like the ankle bone's connected to the shin bone's connected to the knee bone to thigh bone, hip bone. And it kind of like everything's all connected. And to me, if your foundation is any bit compromised, and then your puck skills, your passing, and your shooting is compromised too. You gotta work on skating. And if you're reading, doesn't matter how old you are, whether you're a prospect level or young, and everyone tells you you're a good skater, or you're reading that you're a good skater, that means you got to work on your skating and maintain it. It doesn't mean you don't have to do any skating work or any technical skating or stride efficiency stuff. If you can understand what your mind makes your body do and why you put pressure into your ankle on different sides or your edges, whatever you want to call it, flat edge, inside, outside edges. And then there's so much technical stuff going on nowadays, but skating is the foundation. I'm constantly suggesting to players to work on skating. It's so important. And I mean, and the coaching side of things, when we talk about, Nelly, when we talk about how coaches are set in their ways, you know, to me, number one, in all my experience, when I've come across an old school coach, meaning, you know, good, but this is the way I'm going to do things. I can plan my season from practice 1 all the way to practice 200. You know, he's got this progression and he does all the same drills and whatever. Then you can name the drills, okay? Remember, and then you just list it on a piece of paper. We're doing a turkey drill, we're doing a Nelly drill, and then we're doing a Smitty drill, and then we're doing this drill, and then we'll work a little bit on power play, and then we're getting out of the rink. We're going home. Whether you're a peewee or you know, you guys, what do you guys have? There's squirts, like squirts and stuff down south. Like, you know, it doesn't matter how old you are, but if you're not willing to adapt to what your team is based on how the game is played nowadays, and like, I feel like coaching has become a huge evolution in how to play chess on the ice, because you have to number one, you gotta research, you gotta study stuff, and it's not just about the team you're playing against, it's how the shot's taking place, it's how you're developing, you know, zone or transitional play through the blue lines or breakouts. You know, how you position your breakout and who's a lefty, who's a righty. I went to a practice, I don't know, like just before we got shut down again, and one coach is like, well, this lefty's got to swing to the right and this righty's got to swing to the left because I want them getting their pass on the back or on the forehand on the breakout. And I'm like, the first person back, who gives a shit? If the puck's on the left side, then swing to the left or swing to the middle. If it's your forehand or your backhand, you got to be able to take the pass anyway.
For sure.
The quickest way as possible. So there still are coaches out there. You know, we don't want to badmouth coaches, but just, you know, I would say just evolve or look for more information or get help. Everyone needs help. And the smart coaches, I don't mean to talk your ears off here, everybody, but the smart coaches at the NHL level, they know they can't teach shooting. They can't teach skating or stick handling, or they can't teach puck control or body position or angling. They just know what they want their team to do. So the good coaches say, okay, we just got in this situation over here. Analytics said when we go in blue line and we do our double cycle in the corner, so-and-so or player A gets the puck here and is not taking the right shot. Who do we need? Turkey. you know, and or something like that, or a shooting coach. And then it's like, well, guess what? You know what? Like that person, they're doing 3 crossovers going from forwards to backwards, and they're traversing across the ice before they get straight to the dot line. Who do we need to help? Nelly. We need to help with skate. You know, like let's bring Nelly in here. I can't teach it, but then the timing's all ass screwed up with everything that's going on now. But that's going to come back. And those smart coaches, no matter what age or level they're coaching, when they bring in separate people to help with development, 2 things happen. 1, they learn to reiterate if they're a good coach. And 2, it gives them a break. And
for sure.
Break to
different voice.
Yeah, what the players are doing, how they're skating. They can, you know, like all the, in my opinion, all the better types of coaches, when people like us go in to run practices for them, when we have our themes, they should be making notes on, hey, little Billy just improved that crossover. Or little Frankie, look at that shot release. Holy crap. How do we get that transition to games? And then that's when we come in again.
And one thing that I respect a lot about you, Turkey, right? Like you've worked with some of the best guys in the world, is you're an open book, right? Like that's one of the biggest things that I respect about you. Like some of these coaches, like, you know, like it's like a secret, you know, and they close their practices, or you know, they're not really willing to share their drills or whatever the case may be, right? And that's one thing that, like, you put it out there for everybody to see, and that goes a long way, right? Like, because I think coaches are afraid to ask for help, right? Because A, they're embarrassed, or B, the reality of it is they think they know everything. And like you're one of the, you're at the top, right? And you're a student of the game yourself, right? So you have to be able to make those adjustments, right? Because players change, the whatever changes, right? Like your approach has to be different with each individual, and for sure when it comes to skating, right? Because I can't think of 2 guys that have the same stride. I will never come across 2 guys that have the same stride, right? So it's making those adjustments individually, I think is what really separates a good coach from a coach that just goes through the motions and has the same practice over and over and over again.
Yeah, 100%. Now, you know, that's a really good point. You know, like everyone, like I always go back to that fingerprint thing, and that's how unique athletes are. So if we're going to succeed at what we do, we have to attach ourselves to that fingerprint so that we can see just how their motion patterns work, how their thought processes are, you know, their energy levels, like how their power outputs and how they react to stuff like that. And then once you figure that out, then you can challenge the athlete to make a step up, or if you're going to do like a progression pattern to them, they need to have a sense of accomplishment. They need to accomplish something. It can't be just like you can do the same drill 100 times. And we talked about drills and coaches. You know, like I can have 8 professional coaches, 8 minor league coaches, and 8 minor pro coaches, or whatever, or European coaches. We can draw one drill, and then everyone's going to have a different theme, or why they would focus on that drill for their own team because of our minds and how they work. But it's important, in my opinion, it's important, everyone out there, if you have questions, ask while we're here, but it's important that everyone knows that improvisation, having the ability to adjust, is only going to get you all that much better.
Right, I agree with that.